We're gonna go live on Facebook in a few seconds and we'll commence this special coffee with yours truly, Dragon. Welcome to this special coffee with yours truly, A to H Dragon. We're gonna go rock and roll a little bit here before meditation. It is exactly 11 a.m. in the morning in Hawk Island, Montreal. Exactly 11 a.m. in the morning in Hawk Island, Montreal. Stretch a little bit before we delve into some mind meditation, mind, body, and spirit session. This is going to be a reading session. We're going to go into the afternoon for about an hour and a half. Rock and roll tango. Get yourself a cup of coffee. First and foremost, I want to say meditate and be grateful, and I am grateful, thankful that my rent is paid in full for the month of August. So I'm grateful, thankful that my rent is paid in full for the month of August. I'm grateful, thankful that my electricity bill is also paid in full. So I fulfilled my obligation, my duty, and my responsibility. Millennials, what's happening in the finance? Myself admit I'm broke, but my work is gold. As a matter of fact, I put in more philosophical, artistic, spiritual, and physical work than all the leaders of the free world combined during COVID. Yours truly, Eden Hannah Dragon, put in more physical, artistic, spiritual, and philosophical work than all the leaders of the free world combined during COVID. Yours truly, Adrian Hanna Dragon, put in more physical, spiritual, philosophical, and artistic work than all the leaders of the free world combined during COVID. Leaders of the free world, please hear from the collective North American civilization. Yours truly, please sometimes do say love you, because otherwise, what are we fighting to save this free world, West Side, North American civilization, collective civilization for here in North America, the free world? If somebody's not making LOV now as I'm speaking, or tonight, of course we have different time zones, and are we to fight for civilization, human civilization, if there's no LOV? I wouldn't want to love in that kind of world. And hopefully somebody's gonna make good love LOV tonight with consent and hygiene, mutual understanding and love. Principle that harm none, with consent and hygiene, mutual understanding and love. Principle that harms none. Consent, mutual understanding, love, and the principle that harms none. And rock and roll tango, tango, tango. 11:02 a.m. in the morning. Who's saying buying, sell, buy stocks, trade, buy stocks, buy stocks? Who made a million? Who's gonna make a million on the stock market today? Buy, trade, sell, buy stocks, option, forex. Maybe on the forex market. XYZ, don't know, big financiers. If you make a million, please donate, finance some food security for yours truly, Eden Hannah Dragon. Food security is important. And of course, mass finance, working out, training, exercising, which has been, is, and will be medicine of choice for yours truly. And I believe it is so for many. It is always my medicine and therapy to work out, train, exercise, and on a fitness journey, continuing the fitness journey, lost more than 77 pounds. And this morning, drinking this cup of coffee with some meditation, and we're going to do some reading to train the brain, Yours truly, Dragan Dragon, born Adrian H. Dragon, died during COVID. I had COVID, I think, like 3 times. Just 2 weeks ago, came out of COVID and isolation. Please, brothers and sisters, increasing hygiene. Please, increasing hygiene. Please. Increasing hygiene in public by washing your hands often with soap. Disinfect with your hands by washing with soap and water, soap and water, or hand sanitizer, or sanitizer, or any other sanitizer or disinfectant when you go in and out of a public building, which is of course not your private domain. Right here in my underground room, office, and temple, I am in my private dragon's lair. I could turn everything off, close the blinds, get naked if I so choose, and dance naked on Madonna music, Tekashi 6ix9ine music, and Kanye West music. For an hour, naked dance, Adrian Hannah Dragon, androgynous pansexual is $1 million for an hour to pay all my debts, to support my sister's art, to finance the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom's work. So if you want to commission that, I don't have a OnlyFans, but nonetheless, that is the deal and the offer on the table. Not 1 penny, 1 cent, $1 less than that. What I've said, it's non-negotiable. 1 million minimum for 1 hour, naked, fully naked. Yours truly, Adrian Hannah Dragon, androgynous pansexual dance. On this 9th of August, a rainy day here in Hawk Island, Montreal, and as I've said, I could turn everything off and do XYZ and dance naked if I so choose on Madonna music, Kanye West music, Tekashi 69, or in whatever order. The Kanye West, Tekashi 69, Madonna music, get naked, dance, turn everything off, and remain in my privacy without sharing my philosophy, meditations, and art, and aspirations and struggles and sufferings of which I have had a fair share in this underground room of some temple. I'm sharing it in the private, and I am a private citizen. I can turn everything off. However, when we step outside, when we step outside in the public domain, we are no longer just private citizens. We are also public citizens, right? We are also public citizens. So an added layer, a dimensions of responsibility, obligation, and duty is added. Sure. Before I proceed, I'm gonna say that your affiliated Hana Dragon does not play it self-righteous. I do not play the self-righteous game. I have lusts. I get intense, and I can be pretty intense. I get moody. I get upset. I get angry. I've struggled. I suffered. I've been through depression. I've been suicidal. I've been down and out rock bottom. And working out, training, exercising has been my medicine and is my medicine and therapy and joy and mode of worship. And I believe it is for many have been them and will call. CALL, call for the mass financing thereof, my brothers and sisters, to work out, train, exercise. Please, 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 brothers, and I'm saying mostly brothers because patriarchal sports leagues of which make more economically, financially, commercially than any women's sports league. Let's be honest. There's not even one women's sports leagues which makes even close economically, financially, commercially to what the patriarchal sports leagues makes. And of course, counterbalancing that is my creation and the greatest sport that I'm the best at. I am the best dancer in the world. That is mixing with dancing, living, millennial, rainbow poet. So I'm the best dancer when mixed, fused elements of me being a poet and a dancer. So of course there's no women's sports leagues which makes even close financially, economically, commercially, economically, financially to what the patriarchal sports leagues. There's no women's sports leagues that offer multi-million-dollar contracts. Sure, there are individual women who have made in the sports, but not that many, not that many, a few, but not the sports leagues who have hundreds of players who have many contracts which are in the 3 million, 5 million, 10, even more than $10 million annually contracts. You hear about 5-year contracts, 156 million. That's 30 million a year, right? So my brothers, CEOs and CEOs of the patriarchal sports leagues of the NFL, National Football League, the NHL, National Hockey League, the NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB. A call of the heart for yours truly, greatest living millennial dancing rainbow poet. Who's broke? I admit I'm broke, but my work is gold. I admit I'm broke, but my work is gold. I admit I'm broke, but my work is gold. Who say no lying? And I'm grateful, thankful that my rent is paid. Have fulfilled my obligation, duty, and responsibility to pay rent for August. My rent's paid. August 9th. I can work, and I'm working now with this meditation, this rant. Before I proceed, I'm gonna drink a cup of coffee, do a meditation on this cup of coffee. This coffee of origin does not say on the label, but I'm glad, thankful, grateful that I've been able to get it. As prices increasing, and the prices increasing, who suffers more? It's people like me and you, me and you, me and you. Those who have multi-millions, have millions, suffer less, right? Suffer less because inflation doesn't affect them that much. This coffee bean, make a meditation on the motto, M-O-T-T-O, motto, philosophical motto of the Dancing Goddess Army, of which I'm the founder thereof, androgynous pansexual. Yours truly, priestess of the goddess, yeah, I say goddess, G-O-D-D-E-S-S, and they don't really like it. The goddess, Mother Nature, planet Earth, it takes the black fertile earth, with the water, the nutrients, and the elements within the black fertile earth, and the water and the sun rays who fertilize now, the sun rises and sun sets. Although it's cloudy here, dark gray clouds, it is 11:09 a.m. But coast to coast, and even in Europe, in Cairo, it is 5:09 p.m. in the afternoon. So they still got 3 more hours of sun in all the continent of Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. So the sun is shining even on all North America and on Europe, still Africa And of course, the ocean, that ways east, that ways east, that ways east, the Atlantic Ocean. And the black fertile earth with the waters being fertilized to make all fruits, all vegetables, all legumes grow. Even this black coffee bean, which comes in a red berry and initially was made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother the sun, who now rises and now sets and covers all of North America, Central America, South America, Canada coast to coast, United States coast to coast, Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Panama, then goes down to Ecuador, then to Peru, Chile, Venezuela, Colombia, Paraguay, Uruguay, Argentina, Brazil, all these countries, right? I'm drinking this cup of coffee. Thank you, love you, kiss you, the farmers. Somewhere in the world, it can be Latin America, Africa, or of course, it can be Vietnam, Asia. And I'm grateful, thankful that I was able to get it at a reduced price. It's $4 reduced from the original price. A big one, a big one, a big one to last me more time, and it's better to get the big one than the small one. So I was able to get it, even though on a budget. This coffee will fuel me, give me some more energy to continue writing my children's books as I'm in the process of writing children's books. Write children's books, to do creative work, creative work, and intellectual work, and to clean my room. Millennials, let's clean our rooms today. Millennials, let's clean our rooms today. If not today, please, please tomorrow, and please, please, please increase in hygiene in public. I'm not always in a good mood. I've been just being suicidal, being too depressed. I encourage everybody to work out, train, exercise. Try to implement my created own workout, which I've created back in 2019, and I'm looking for volunteers to help with all my work and my creative work, my physical work, my work to pledge your allegiance, legions, pledge your allegiance, legions, pledge your allegiance, legions. I'm gonna start rap. If I start rapping, anybody want to commission a rap? If you want me to start rapping, deliciously disgusting diatribe. On this morning, I'm grateful, thankful. I'm grateful. Seize the day I'm gonna live by since I've died during COVID, although I'm triple vaccinated. Adrian H. Dragon died during COVID. I'm being reborn Adrian Hana Dragon, androgynous, pansexual founder of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom. Our World Peace Work and the Global Dragon Union, the 21st Century International Workers Alliance, that I'm calling all willingly loving for. And of course, the Phoenix People's Party, the anti-war, anti-poverty, anti-racism. To that triple anti, you gotta be pro something. So I'm pro love, pro LOVE. Love is also action, right? Love is also action. Love is also action. And with all the vices and the lust that I do have, and my brothers on the TV, experts and PhDs, your story dragon, the people's doctor, the people's doctor, the people's doctor. Encourage all to work out, train, exercise, take care of your body. The body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. The body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. The body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. And how do we invest in it? By working out, training, exercising. How do you invest in it? By working out, training, exercising, and good hygiene, a good bath. Don't know if I'm going to take a bath today, but if not, I'm going to take a bath tomorrow. If not, during the Sabbath, it begins Friday with the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom. And with admitting that I have flaws and vices, and admitting and being honest that at some things I am mediocre, at some things I am average, at some things I am so-so. I am a great geopolitical analyst and theorist, super good geopolitical analyst and theorist, an excellent geopolitical analyst and theorist. So I spent many years with struggling chronic illness and being depressed and suicidal, loneliness, XYZ. Nonetheless, still struggled and made the libraries of the city of Montreal, Hawk Island, my second home, and the many tens of thousands of books, my friends. And I've read tens of thousands of books. I've also written in parallel to reading tens of thousands of pages of philosophy, geopolitical analysis and theory, geopolitical analysis and theory, geopolitical analysis and theory, of which my original, which I've given it in oral form, oral communication, public oral communication, of which have of course put online. I've written somewhere a few USB keys here and there, and on paper called the Collective North American Civilization. The Collective North American Civilization, or the North American Civilizational Collective, which is my unique geopolitical analysis about purporting and believing, as I believe it, that North America, since the Second World War, in response to the Second World War, in response to the inner crisis of Western civilization with fascism and Nazi Germany, Nazi Germany, Nazi Germany. Some say the Germans were at war, were not only at war with communism and against the Jews and against the Gypsy, but with the whole world. Some say that. I'm not going to go into a lecture about the Second World War because I could, but nonetheless, my geopolitical analysis and theory states, of course, at the beginning that in the Second World War, that is the beginning, the origin, when the rising of the collective North American civilization begins. In that time frame, at the Second World War, a response, and it's distinct but not totally divorced from Western civilization. So ours, because I am a North American, I am a Montrealer, I am a Québécois. Je suis pas mal québécois, pas mal. Un petit peu trop mal peut-être, mais plus bon. Après-midi, c'est correct. J'ai du café, c'est correct. But yes, brothers and sisters, I am a Québécois. I love the French language and I speak it. I love La Belle Province. I write rock songs, poetry, philosophy in French. This is what I am. I'm a North American. I'm a Quebecois. I'm a Canadian. I'm a world LGBTQ citizen. Act local, think global. Act local, think global. Act local, think global. And I call for world peace. I'm a world peace advocate, but also peace has to come within ourselves. Also, I admit that I have aggression, right? But I channel and sublimate, channel and sublimate, channel and sublimate. So important these two words, and so hard can be to put into practice, because we're moved by sometimes irrational forces, dreams, so irrational dreams. I had a little bit of a violent dream last night. It was so irrational, so distinct in its content that it was kind of semi fiction, semi movie, semi aberrations, semi, so it was subconscious elements of forces, whether from memories, from experiences, or from hidden lusts, hidden desires, hidden lusts, hidden fears, right? Don't, I hope you agree with my statement that Kal Nassib is not the only LGBTQ player in the NFL, because there are one on each team, and one on each team of not only the NFL but the NHL, NBA, MLB, and four patriarchal sports leagues. And of course, I understand economic, financial, commercial wealth. I've lost economic, financial, commercial wealth due to being LGBTQ, and people gossip, in the workplace. The Global Dragon Union's 11 holy principles to try to also limit gossip, try to address things publicly. We have different energies. We have to try to have different common denominators. It's not always easy. We have to admit certain things, and like myself, do admit that certain things I'm mediocre, certain things I am average, certain things I am so-so. Other things is geopolitical analysis and theory. I am great. I am super at dancing. I dance best. Boy, I'm combined poetry and dance, fused poetry and dance. When integrated the poet in me and the dancer in me, I'm the world's greatest living dancing millennial rainbow poet. Commission to dance, commission sponsor work, blah blah blah. 11:19 a.m. I'm gonna say thankful, grateful, thankful. I'm gonna send a blessing to. I hear the children laughing and playing. I love that. I'm always even happy when I hear children being happy. I'm an aspiring writer of course, children's books. I love reading to children, and I'm in the process of writing books. I have written a few books already. I'm looking for partnership, for collaboration in the writing process. And of course, I have experience in reading to children's books, and I'm a writer, not only geopolitical analysis and theoretical writer, but I'm also, of course, writer of poetry, writers of songs, of theory, and of course writing children's books at the moment, which I have a series. And I think my originality when do write children's books is that I incorporate some movement, and my themes are mostly nature and civilization, and mostly children going around about, or very fantastical friendships that seem odd. For example, between a lion and a dragon, and things of that nature that seemed a little bit of odd friendship, or at first there's a little bit of antagonism between the creatures in my children's stories, but there's a development of a friendship for mutual protection, or for mutual collaboration, or mutual cooperation within my writing. So I'm also writing children's books. So this morning I am grateful, thankful that my rent is paid in full. I paid my rent in full. I have, of course, fulfilled my obligation. Millennials, millennials, millennials. My obligation, duty, and responsibility to pay my rent has been fulfilled. I've also paid my electricity bill in full, just as I paid my rent in full. So that responsibility, obligation, and duty has been fulfilled. So now I can work, 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 work. Although I admit I'm in a financial crisis, as many, many hours with prices increasing, and I'm open for business. But I am grateful, thankful, and will say, of course, my gratitude. And of course, as calling all willingly living to the global dragon union. Please, 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 increasing hygiene in public, brothers and sisters, citizens. Wash your hands with soap, disinfect with soap, with water, with sanitizer. Because when we step outside of our private domains, I'm in my private lair, sharing with the public my philosophy, art, meditations, geopolitical analysis, and in a bit we'll do some reading on parapsychology, on superorganisms, and on group mind for Wikipedia. But of course, please increase in hygiene in public. Get vaccinated. I'm triple vaccinated, although I had COVID, tested positive about 3 weeks ago. Was self quarantine, self isolation for about 11 days because I was sick, and I had it also last year, another form, another variant of it. But at the beginning of it, I was really, really sick. I thought I was gonna die. In many ways, I did die. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. And end of January 2020 until about mid to late February 24, for about 22 days, more than 2 weeks. About February, mid February to about February, late February, I was very sick from late end of January till about mid to late February. Very sick, all the symptoms of COVID, but it was before mass testing was available. It was before it was declared a pandemic. Only a month later it was declared a pandemic. So I said, hey, I had COVID. So increase in hygiene, workout, train, exercise. I do encourage all. You see the children doing a push-up, encourage the children, say, do another one. You see the child doing a pirouette, encourage them to do another one. And of course, exercising, working out, training has been, is, and will be medicine and therapy for yours truly. Yes. Of course, I am calling, especially my brothers. I'm gonna say brothers because there's no women's sports leagues, which makes even close again, economically, financially, commercially, to what the patriarchal sports leagues make. And I'm a universal revolutionary centrist with my own theories, with my own admittance of imperfections, and at some things I am mediocre, guilty. I admit it. I admit it. I admit it. At some things I am so. I admit it, guilty. At some things I am average. I could always get better at some things. Perhaps at some things I will stay at a certain level and cooperate and work together with somebody else. But I'm a great geopolitical analyst and theorist, artist, world's greatest living, dancing, millennial rainbow poet. Got some brain and some muscle. Do have some brain and some muscle. Do have some brain and some muscle. Not perfect. Do not play it self-righteous. I got lusts. I got vices. I get moody. I get upset. I get triggered. I get irritated. XYZ. Always working out, training, exercising has been, is, and will be medicine and therapy for yours truly. And sometimes we are moved by those subconscious biases, subconscious forces, subconscious fears, right? Like I gave the analogy of a story. I fantasized, it was a fantasy, that was a story that it happened, that a player from the NFL responds to my call and says, hey, I'm gonna be a member of the Dragon Army, and I'm with you. We should mass finance fellow citizens to work out, to train, exercise, mass incentivize. And I adhere because I my call to mass finance, working out, training, exercising via public-private partnership, government and corporations working together. Also, of course, the NFL, National Football League, the NHL, National Hockey League, the NBA, National Basketball Association, and of course the MLB, the four patriarchal sports leagues, to mass finance. First and foremost, the CEOs, multi-millionaires, some are multi-billionaires, and of course the multi-millionaires artists. Please, if you're a multi-millionaire, then today, if my message gets out, please, please, please finance food security, food security, food security. You cannot stress the importance of food security. It's so primary, right? Food security. I've resorted to food banks myself, being in economic, financial, commercial struggle. I've resorted to food banks, I admit it. I love hearing children being happy, joyous, and that will be the anthem of the dancing goddess in the dragon kingdom. It will be music, but no lyrics, just children laughing and playing. That will be the anthem of the dance, and that is the anthem of the dancing goddess in the dragon kingdom of yours truly. Androgynous pansexual founder is Adrian Hanna Dragan, the androgynous pansexual founder of the dancing goddess in the dragon kingdom. That will be the anthem, unique anthem. All other anthems of the world have the lyrics, the nationalism, the patriotism, the XYZ. But this Dancing Goddess and Dragon Kingdom will have music. It could be classic music, rock music, instrumental rap music, techno music, jazz music, fuse different elements. But it will be the no the sound, the sound of children laughing, playing, would be the sound. That's the anthem of the dancing goddess and dragon king. And that embodies a philosophy, different philosophies. So brothers and sisters, please, if you anybody who's a multi-millionaire, please finance food security. Because with all the lusts, the vices, the imperfections that I do have, and the struggles that I've been through, and many others have, of course, there's no way, brothers and sisters, that during COVID, if I would have been a multi-millionaire, admitting that I have vices, that I have lust, that I get moody, that I get upset, that I get triggered, that I have aggression, but I channel it and supplement by working out, training, exercising, so that I harm none. Right? Only in self-defense. That's my only law. Self-defense, self-defense, self-defense at all times, 24/7. And admitting all this is no way with all that I have the imperfections that if I would have been a multi-millionaire, ain't no fucking way that I would have been that selfish to not finance food security or during the holidays, children's gifts, toys, chocolates, whatever gifts for the holidays, and food security. Ain't no way, knowing myself with all the lust, the hidden, not that hidden because I admit a lot, perhaps too much. I should admit less, but XYZ. So brothers, I'm gonna say brothers in the Patriotic Sports League, NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, MLB, Major League Baseball, NBA, mass finance people to work out, train, exercise, and the public-private partnership, and the Dragon Army, and I'm calling all willingly loving to support the Dragon Army, and of course, the complementary cooperative covenant way with the Dancing Goddess Army. We two complementary institutions integrated with all existing public and private institutions and organizations is via the implementation of my trinity of theories, of which citizen integration theory is one theory, debt fusion theory is the other, and democratic fusion theory. So by these three holy, sacred, divine theories, the trinity of theories that yours truly has written over the past 7, 8, 9 years now, given in an oral form in a compendium, by these three theories implemented local throughout the collective North American civilization and the North American civilizational collective and east, west, north, south for world peace, I believe best at this point in time. And by these three trinity of theories, the citizen integration theory, debt fusion theory, democratic fusion theory, to create the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions of the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, the aka street name the Dragon Army, to be for security and service, for security service, to be integrated with all existing public and private security institutions, local, national, international, complementing the covenant cooperative way with the International Integrated Dance League, aka the Dancing Goddess Army, that chose to is the founder thereof. And the Integrated Dance League to be an all gender, all ages, all sexual orientations inclusive dance league. To dance for pleasure and purpose. Pleasure, it's love to dance, love to dance. It's recreational, right? It makes me feel good, feel better, sweat, 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 dancing. Music can be universal. Love to dance, dance accepts everybody. International Integrated Dance League, Dancing Goddess Army, and of course for recreation and purpose, purpose, for environmental education, to do better with the environment, to be on the march, on the move, distribute pamphlets about good recycling, how we can increase our composting, how we can do better in recycling, so that we make sure we have the best and we maximize best efficient recycling methods. Education and action, action and education, action and education. I have some practical experience a few years ago doing the compost and the recycling education, and always learn, always learn, always learn. I admit that some things I am mediocre average, at some things I am so. I am great at other things such as philosophizing, geopolitical analysis and theory, poetry, Some brain and some muscle, some brain and some muscle, some brain and some muscle. Dragon has. So back before I digress to that story that embodies a philosophy, that of course there's the I it was in a fantasy or scenario which I've concocted, and of course this NFL player, 6'6", 360 pounds, spent 13 years in the NFL, survived 3 concussions. Response to me comes in my underground room office in Temple, wants to give a check, wants to try to do my workout, and he starts screaming, ah, goes runs to the door. I say, Brian, what are you running for? And says, spider, spider, spider. So he's afraid of a spider, tiny little spider. And the spider, you have a safe space here for the spiders in my underground room office in Temple. They're holy to my goddess. They're holy to my goddess. They're holy to my goddess. Because I like spiders, also like lions and snakes and creatures. Spiders are okay. They can roam in my room, office, and temple freely without and safely. So he starts screaming, says, spider, spider, spider. So that is so irrational because we have the irrational component, whether we admit it or not. There's irrational forces, subconscious psychology, our natures, hidden fears, hidden lusts, hidden fears, they exist. Like the scenario of this 6'6" NFL player who's 360 pounds. He's 6'6". He spent 13 years in the NFL, survived 3 concussions. So he spent 13 years in the NFL, survived 3 concussions. He's 6'6", 360, and yet he's afraid of a tiny little black spider, or a tiny golden, black and white, whatever, multicolor, little spider, barely his thumb size. Starts screaming, goes towards the door. He's 6'6", 360 pounds. He spent 13 years in the NFL. He survived 3 concussions, and yet he's afraid of a tiny little spider. He starts running, screaming. We have these irrational fears. We have these irrational forces. We have this subconscious, resolved, unresolved conflicts, psychosexual conflicts, right? How many are LGBTQ in the NFL? There are one on each team. Kal Nassib is not the only one, or in other patriarchal sports leagues, or whatever the case, right? I understand economic, financial, commercial matters. You want to lose that multi-million-dollar contract, and I say myself, perhaps with a little subconscious bitterness that I've lost economic, financial, commercial opportunity, continuance, maybe sometimes says gossip. Oh, he said that, he said that. Oh, yo, this guy's a fact. Okay, I'll give you the F-word pass. You're an ally army. You can use the F-word pass. What up? The F-word pass, F-word pass. Faggot, faggot, faggot. Yeah, I'm a faggot, yeah. Yeah. I'm LGBTQ Rainbow Dragon. For myself, it has come out. I've been in the Obi 7 years now. It's not easy. There are people who are 40s, 50s who are LGBTQ. Millennials think we've, like, in North America, or about 5% identify. I mean, 5 or 6% identify. The number is closer to 10, 15, maybe even 10, 15%. So the number is about triple in reality. For myself, I'm speaking as a millennial, although of course I'm a universal spiritual teaching student who of course I say teaching student because Mother Nature is the greatest artist and scientist, and I'm learning spirituality, and spirituality is a practice, a meditation, and spirituality can be found in nature. Spirituality can be found in having a cup of coffee, by doing a meditation, and of course as a universal spiritual teaching student who is a student because don't have all the answers or don't have dogmatic. There's a lot of questions as I am a universal spiritual teaching student, also student because I have also questions and meditations, and there's things I do not know. For me, nature is divine, holy, and sacred as well. Other things can be holy, sacred as well, depending on the rituals and the meditations that we do of things of nature and civilization. And of course, I say the word goddess, Goddess, which perhaps still offends because you're God, God, God. You're the Pope. I didn't listen to the Pope. He didn't. He doesn't say goddess. You lose me. I don't. I can be non-sectarian, non-dogmatic, and in matters which pertain to greater good, the greater good, food security, I can be non-sectarian. I can be non-dogmatic. But when it comes to spirituality, my brothers and sisters, I say through blood, sweat, and tears, I stay proud. And today, if I get struck by lightning, get COVID, whatever, I work out, I have a heart attack, whatever, I still want to love, kiss, 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 because I got plenty of kisses. But if today is my last day, carpe diem, I'm gonna live every day, carpe diem, carpe diem. I said the word goddess. You know what I'm saying? I did say it, because y'all say God, God, God. Yeah, but where the goddess at, yo? Y'all God, 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 but they ain't got their goddess now. My brother, rapper Kanye, I can rap on the same level. I like the beats. Let me do a remix. Finance Dragan to put on the Kanye, just would say the word goddess, just at least once. I like the album. What is it called, the album? Donda, Donda, Donda. I am a Kanye West fan. And then also jazz, rock, pop. But I wanted to put myself, I put just this word, goddess, Goddess, goddess. I heard God, 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 all the way, not even once goddess. It's universal spiritual. All the goddess, look, the trees. Some of them are 3 size, 4 times, 5 times, 6, 7 times my size. And I'm a piece of dust. I'm a piece of dust. Dancing dust, nonetheless. Dancing dust, nonetheless. Dancing dust, nonetheless. I'm not going to go into a spiritual rant, but nonetheless, this is the last video that I do make. And I did say the word goddess all around. Her hairs are the trees. The hairs on the goddess's body are the trees. The hairs on the goddess's body are the trees. And by the dance with her brother the sun, she makes, creates, and produces all fruits, all vegetables, all legumes that our brothers and sisters, farmers, harvest for us to make, upgrade, and maintain civilization. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, farmers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, farmers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, farmers. Players, multimillionaires in the National Football League, NFL, National Hockey League, NHL, NBA, National Basketball League, MLB. Y'all multimillionaires, I'm calling on y'all to offer the farmers a massage, because also y'all multimillionaires gotta eat. Everybody gotta eat, man. Everybody gotta eat. Everybody gotta eat. Food is holy, sacred, and divine. Made, created, and produced. The coffee bean, the black coffee bean, all the fruits, all the vegetables, all the legumes, all the grain, all the grain, all the grain. Initially, is made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother the sun. That is the motto of the dancing goddess army. It incorporates a philosophy. And I can be non-dogmatic, I can be non-sectarian, sure. You can be an atheist on food security, on nature, Mother Nature. For the greater good, we can work together. I'm non-sectarian, non-dogmatic. Non-sectarian, non-dogmatic. Perhaps sometimes spirituality, religion is best to be kept in the private. I sure, because I'm a universal spiritual teaching student, I don't know it all. To my allies and armies, can kiss, hug, dance for, hug, kiss, kiss. Kisses got 718 trillions of kisses from the goddess. Sent one kiss from the heavens above to her little sister who dances with her brother the sun, and that kiss turned into 718 trillions of kisses. Kisses got, money don't. But my rent's paid. I fulfill my obligation. My rent is paid for August. I do carpe diem today. Gonna do this meditation, and this is the last video that I make. I want to make more. I want to do. I want to love. I want to love and be loved. Perhaps first and foremost. Because if somebody's not making love tonight, then what are we fighting for? To save West Side, free world, the free world for? Leaders of the free world, you lose me, baby. You keep on reading from a piece of paper. I'm assuming you don't have to cook for yourselves. After I do this video, I'm gonna have to cook for myself. I'm gonna cook some onions, cooking on a budget. I'm assuming you got everything paid for. Mostly politicians and Canadian politicians, US. NATO, across NATO, across NATO, let's say across NATO. North Atlantic Treaty Organization, Mr. Stolberg, brother. I see you reading from a piece of paper. 6 words, look back at the camera, read another 6, look back at the camera, read another 6. Can't you memorize a paragraph? Give me something from the heart. Say, love you, free world. I love you. And I love you. My allies and armies, yo, pledge your allegiance, thou art family. Allies and armies, pledge your allegiance, thou art family. And I love you. Love is also action. My allies and armies, pledge your allegiance, allegiance, thou art family. And I love you. Love is also action. Right? Or philosophy. As much as I can philosophize and give sophisticated technical jargon and terms and parlance, which perhaps would obfuscate, conceal more, and muddle. Perhaps sometimes it's better as sometimes I'm straightforward and direct. Now that my rent is paid in full, I can work out, advocate, read, educate, create art, write children's books. I can do, because I have food and coffee, and my rent's paid and my electricity bill is paid. And thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, workers of Hydro Quebec. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, workers of Hydro Quebec. Thank you, love you, kiss you, workers Hydro Quebec. There are 63 dams across this label province, across this province, who power all the electricity. And it's clean, renewable, zero emission, pollution free. Since 1963, well, 1963 is the modern form of the Hydro-Quebec as it's bureaucratically, legally, the legal form of Hydro-Quebec, but it predates with a few decades from the 20s and 30s Hydro-Quebec in its form. 63 dams across this province. Meditate that power all the electricity, that it's clean, renewable, zero emission energy, and gives also to at least 5 states in the US that I know of. And yours truly, Dragan, was born in the USA twice. That way, in the back of me, 718 miles from Hawk Island, aka Montreal, 156 years ago, served in the US Army in past lives, past life incarnation. As I believe in reincarnation and incarnation as a universal spiritual teaching student. In a past life, I was by the Nile in ancient Egypt, by the Euphrates in ancient Babylon, by the Ganges in ancient India, by the Danube in ancient Rome, the Roman Empire. Here, before Columbus, I was here a few times. North America, Central America, South America. Before Columbus, I was incarnated a few times in North America, Central America, South America, by the Mississippi River. Here in Montreal twice. This is the third time that I'm here in Hawk Island, Montreal. I was here twice on this island, on and off the island, but mostly around about the mountain in past lives. Before Columbus, incarnations, whether you believe in reincarnations or not, doesn't mean we can't work together on for world peace and for incentivizing people to work out, train, exercise, right? For XYZ other things. For increasing, please increase in hygiene in public. Please increase in hygiene in public. Please increase in hygiene in public. Wash and disinfect your hands with soap. With sanitizer. Because when we step outside in public, we're also an added dimension, that of being a public citizen, is an added responsibility, duty, and obligation. Because right now, like I've said, I can turn everything off, close the blinds, put Madonna music, Kanye West music, or Tekashi 69 music, and dance naked. If I so choose in my private. Price is 1 million for an hour, 1 million for an hour, 1 million for an hour, for world peace. Adrian Hanna Dragon's naked dance. I can guarantee you will not see anything like that ever, or ever saw, or ever will. 1 million 1 hour naked dance. Adrian Hanna Dragon's naked dance for pay my $10,000 debt to the RBC, $2,200 to the government of Quebec is asking me back for $2,200, and to finance my sister's art, and to that trinity for the fourth dimension to finance the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom's world peace work. Because I am also a world peace advocate. But peace, you have to take some action. I'm hoping that a compromise can be reached, but I'm also real in that my geopolitical analysis and my own self admitting that do have aggression, but channel it and sublimate it. I do push-ups, I do squats, I do hawks, I work out, train, exercise, I work out, train, exercise, I work out, train, exercise, I work out, train, exercise. It's so important, channeling and sublimating it, sublimating and channeling. And like I said, sometimes we're moved or we're triggered or upset or angry because of subconscious biases, subconscious lusts, hidden fears, hidden desires. Like I said, the scenario, which is very highly likely, and it's perhaps it is so, of the 6'6", 360 pounds player in the NFL who spent 13 years playing pro football and survived 3 concussions, and yet he's afraid of a tiny little spider. It's irrational. It's right, but we have this dimension, and in my philosophy to expound that is 2 plus 2 does equal 4, yes, but doesn't mean that we have to write 2 plus 2 in only one color, in only black or only white or only red. My favorite color in the color of the Dragon Army is red. Dancing Goddess Army is green, officially red and green. Phoenix People's Party rainbow. Doesn't mean we have to write it in only one color. The 2 plus 2 equals 4. 2 plus 2 does equal 4. 2 plus 2 does equal 4. 2 plus 2 does equal 4. But doesn't mean we have to write it in only one color. We can write it in black and white and all the colors. We can write the first 2 in green. The plus, we can write one line black, the other white. The other 2, we can write it in red. The equal sign, we can write it in black and in white. And the 4, we can write one line in purple, one line in orange, one line in pink. So we can incorporate all the colors of the rainbow plus the black and the white in that equation 2 plus 2. So that is Adrian Hanna Dragon's philosophy, a way to explaining that yes, we can have the common denominators, and yes, we need the logic, we need the mathematics, we need the science, but it's also this irrational subconscious forces and our beings, emotional, psychological, sexual part of us, whatever psychic, spiritual that is, has to be complementary in the covenant cooperative way, just like the Dragon Army, aka officially known as the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, that I'm calling all Willingly Living to support, is complementary in covenant to the covenant cooperative way to the Dancing Goddess Army, the International Integrated Dance League, right? To work together. 2 plus 2 does equal 4, and it takes action, because I can, if I would just say I'm advocating for the mass financing of people to work out, train, exercise. But if I only advocate and call for and not do it myself, there's something right. It doesn't add up. Doesn't, you know what I mean? So it requires doing. It requires doing. My own healing required doing through blood, sweat, and tears to turn that A in my surname into an O. Thousands of push-ups, thousands of squats, thousands of hawks, millions of marching steps in steel-toe boots to turn the A in my surname of my surname into an O. Dragon becomes dragon, dragon becomes dragon, dragon becomes dragon. So I'm gonna do it now today, workout later on. For blood, sweat, and tears. And the motto of the Dragon Army is nobody is born a dragon. You have to be able to do the General War Integrated Total Body Training System, which is my own workout training program, which I've created and which I'm very proud to have created back in October 2019, and which requires no equipment. The rules are simple. You got 93 minutes to do 100 push-ups, 100 hawks, 100 squats, 100 for each. Push-ups, hawks, squats, 93 minutes. Within 93 minutes, you gotta do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hawks. Trinity. Hawks, push-ups, hawks. You can see hundreds of my workouts online, YouTube, live stream via Facebook of me performing them. Challenging the multi-millionaire athletes. If you can do it, can you do it in the rules? Don't know. The multi-millionaire athletes supposed to do a independent fitness captains who came out of depression and being suicidal and losing 77 pounds and who created his own workout training program. They're supposed to. They got their money. They don't worry about food. They can go to a restaurants. They don't have to cook. Like leaders of the free world, NATO, NATO, NATO. Please learn a paragraph by heart. Please learn a paragraph by heart. Please learn a paragraph by heart. Please learn. So the rules of the General War Integrated Body Training System, which yours truly has created back in October 2019, and I'm proud to have created one of the most efficient, simple, and effective exercises that require no equipment, trains the whole body. And even now, after more than 270 performances, I still feel it when I do it. Still tense. Up to 300 sessions, will still workout, train, develop. It is designed to increase general overall fitness. It's made to increase general overall fitness, made to increase general overall fitness, and it does. So these are the rules of the Dragon Army workout, aka officially known as the General War Integrated Whole Body Training System, aka the Dragon Army workout. You got a 93 minutes to do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hocks. That trinity of exercises: push-ups, hocks, squats, squats, push-ups, hocks, hocks, push-ups, squats. 100 for each. Maximum 13 repetitions per set, minimum 3. Anywhere in between 7, 8, 9, 10, 6, 5. I'm doing 10 times 10 is an easy count to get to 100. And you gotta march or jog or run or walk fast pace, a minimum of 31 seconds in between each set. Whether you do 13 max or 3 minimum or anywhere in between until you get to 100 for the trinity: push-ups, hocks, squats. 4 essential numbers to remember, which are the rules. 93 for how many minutes total are allocated. 93 minutes. 100 for each is required. 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hocks. Doesn't matter the order that you do it. You can do push-ups first, hocks first, squats first, or play it around, do it different ways. Within these rules, 93 minutes to do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hocks. Maximum 13 reps per set, minimum 3 anywhere in between at your choosing. 31 seconds minimum of marching or jogging or running or walking fast pace is required. Within those rules, for try do it yourself, video record it, post it, and me or my official volunteer representative Rants.Will work, me or my official volunteer representative Rants.Will work, me or my official volunteer representative yes work. Rants.Will work will instruct, direct, or bless you in my name. Try to do it. You're eligible to become a member of the Dragon Army that I'm calling for as a institution for the 21st century, first and foremost in North America, the collective North American civilization, to be integrated with all existing public and private institutions and organizations, modeled after my scenario. The scenario that I'm referring to is, of course, back in 2019, yours truly being an independent fitness captain in parallel with a geopolitical analyst and theorist, great geopolitical analyst and theorist, because I'm great at that, at the intellectual development and the analysis of geopolitical analysis of regions, of civilizations, of nation states, and their development and their interactions, economic, financial, political, with other nations, and their internal dynamics based on technological development, XYZ literature or culture or XYZ. I'm a great geopolitical analyst and theorist to develop and see how the trends are going towards the trends, geopolitical trends, where they're heading between regions, or civilizations, and between internally in the civilizations or within regions, the dynamics between nation states based on analysis of the institutions they have, of the organizations they have, of the international organizations that they're part of the XYZ values of their geopolitical sphere and arena, of all their constitution, their religious, cultural, linguistic, and so on and so forth, agricultural development, architectural, even taking all these into consideration and develop the trends. So back in 2019, as a geopolitical analyst and theorist, in parallel to being a fitness captain, have analyzed the situation worldwide and said, brothers and sisters, I sounded the alarm, I sounded the alarm, I sounded the alarm. I said, we are again on a path towards another international conflagration. International conflagration meaning a World War III, basically. So I sounded the alarm and said, humanity, we are going on that trend again, and it has been so. And then 93 days later, the COVID-19 health and financial hit. Health and financial crisis of COVID hit. Myself, I think I had it 3 times. At the beginning, I'm sure I had it. Last year, I think I had it because it was the same for about 10 days. First time was the hardest, then second milder, and this time was a bit milder than the first 2. Although I'm triple vaccinated. That's where I ended, and just hygiene in public. And please work out, train, exercise as much as you can, and encourage people to work out, to train, exercise. Take care of the body. The body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. But nonetheless, back in 2019, October 2019 to be exact, have created, made, and designed this workout system training program, officially titled the General War Integrated Whole Body Training System, aka the Dragon Army workout, designed, made, and created to go hand in hand with the World War III scenario. which in an eerie, paradoxical, providential way resembles the COVID-19 health and financial crisis, furthermore the Russia-Ukraine crisis, and furthermore the China-Taiwan crisis. I'm not going to go into, unless you want to commission sponsor an in-depth analysis, just focusing on either or both of those crises, and even of the COVID crisis, health and financial crisis, coupled with Russia-Ukraine situation, China and Taiwan situation. I'm just going to call for peace, call for peace, brothers and sisters, as this universal revolutionary centrist who has these theories called citizen integration theory, debt refusion theory, democratic fusion theory, who's not perfect, who gets moody, gets upset, gets issues, have lust. I did admit, watch a little bit of pornography, adult movies during the and masturbated, fantasized a bit. So CSISA, CSIS, Canadian Secret Intelligence Service, RCMP, RCMP, RCMP. Just ask. I got a just ask policy. Just ask policy. I'm androgynous, pansexual. Yes, I have lust. With consent and hygiene, mutual understanding and love, I can love myself some BDSM switch. So, no need to spy on me. I'm broken in my account, and I did watch some other movies. So, no need to. NSA, 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 CIA, CIA, Stingray, 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 NSA, RCMP, CSIS, CSIS, RCMP, or CIA, NSA, or FSB, former KGB, Stasi, Stasi, Stasi. The Stasis are gone in 1989, November 1989, November 1989, November. The Stasis are no longer tangoing, dancing, but in another form, the German Secret Service, or Mossad, 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 Mossad. Most sad, sad Mossad. Yes, I got tiny feet, tiny hands, and a tiny little androgynous car clean dick. We got that out of the way. We can. I got a fourth dimension big mouth, so we can perhaps proceed to the greater good rather than tangoing and focus tangoing about around ego and not focusing on solutions. Because right now my rent's paid. I am grateful, thankful. My rent is paid. I am grateful, thankful that my rent is paid. I am grateful, thankful that my rent is paid. My electricity bill is paid, and I thank you, love you, kiss you, workers of Hydro Quebec, who tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, who since in decades here across this belt province built to brain and to via brain and muscle, brain and muscle, brain and muscle, and blood, sweat, and tears, somewhere, of course. Blood, sweat, and tears. These 63 dams, so that I can philosophize, call for world peace, do art, and philosophize and create online, and have this internet connection, so that I'm using clean, renewable, zero emission pollution, zero CO2 emissions, renewable, environmentally friendly, Mother Nature friendly electricity. So thank you, love you, kiss you, workers of Hydro Quebec. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, farmers, farmers, farmers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, farmers who harvested this cup of coffee, the fruits of the goddess who dances with the bird and sun. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, farmers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, truckers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, bakers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, plumbers, plumbers, plumbers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, train conductors. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, pilots. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, warehouse workers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, warehouse workers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, dock workers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, nurses, nurses, nurses. Thank you, love you, kiss you, doctors. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, butchers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, bakers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, construction workers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, sanitation workers, sanitation workers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, those making a sandwich or preparing a coffee now in one of the shops across this collective North American civilization. Maybe for a trucker who's driven from Mexico with avocados or other goods, that's coming all the way to Montreal from Mexico, driving 6 hours, got to stop 6 hours, got to stop over the day. So he's tired. Maybe he needs a massage. He can't afford it. Too expensive. Getting too expensive. What? How much is a massage an hour? Get leaders of the free world parliamentarians go offer the truckers and the farmers a good goddamn massage. That's what I could fucking use right now. A good massage, since my rent is paid, my electricity bill is paid in full, my rent is paid in full. I'm gonna work out, train, exercise, I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna write. No need to hack me in my. I'm already in the minus in the bank account. I got $10,000 of debt at the Royal Bank of Canada. The government of Quebec is asking me $2,200 back. I'm broke, but my work is gold, and I do call for all willingly loving to support, join mission, vision, and philosophy thereof, the implementation of my trinity of theories, citizen integration theory, debt refusion theory, and democratic fusion theory, that I'm calling the implementation for the creation of the two complementary Covenant and Cooperative Institutions of the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragon Army, with the International Integrated Dance League, aka the Dancing Goddess Army, for the greater good, for the greater good, for the greater good, and going all willingly living to the Global Dragon Union, 20 Workers, International Workers Alliance for the 21st Century, and the implementation of my 11 principles thereof of please, brothers and sisters, try to limit gossip, 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 slander, and gossip. I'm not perfect. I got issues, vices, lusts. Try to address sometimes better directly. It's hard to admit that we have jealousies, that we have envies, resentments. It's emotional constitutions of ourselves, which or depression. I've been through depression. I've been suicidal. There's dark places I've been to. It takes action. It took action, and it takes action for my own healing and my own transformation. It took action. Working out, training, exercising, marching, walking, more doing push-ups, doing hawks, losing the 77 pounds, more than 77 pounds down. Beginning a fitness journey is the best investment, and I'm going to invest later on today. You best be bet on that. Who made $1 million on the stock market now since 9:30 a.m. in 3 hours, 2 hours and a half? If you made $1 million, please give 10%, please give 10%, please give 10% to food security, to food security, to food security. Food security is so important. In this late hour with solutions, we gotta focus ourselves with solutions. I don't have all the solutions. For example, there's certain things I'm perhaps effing useless. Let's say plumbing, for example. I know a little bit of theory, maybe from learning, going, seeing it once, twice, or thrice. Maybe the fourth time I can even try to do some. And this is the citizen integration theory that I'm calling the implementation via the Dragon Army and the Dancing Goddess Army, to complementary covenant and cooperative institutions to be integrated with all existing public and private institutions and organizations. Citizen integration theory by those two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions of the Dragon Army, officially titled International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, street name Dragon Army, with the International Integrated Dance League official name Dancing Goddess Army. These citizen integration theory, for example, to be put into practice, to make citizens of all ages, to go see, for example, how the 63 dams here in the province of Quebec operate, to go see them. Wow, this is what powers all the electricity, all the energies that are powering our civilization, and in friendliness with nature, because it's not polluting, no pollution, zero emission, environmentally friendly and renewable energy. My water, Hydro Quebec, wow. To go see how those dams are made. To go see how farming is being done. Somebody who never farmed. I have experienced farming, urban, a few years urban farming. So planted, sowed, did all the farming work, have some experience there. You can always learn more. Because since 1984, a lot of specializations, since 1984, specialization, have made us a lot of alienation in our societies and disconnection, alienation and disconnection, alienation, disconnection. So through citizen integration theory, to fight alienation and see how integrate how all these things of civilization and nature can work together and function. How farming is done, how recycling is done. I've been disillusioned. Proposals to organizations and no response, a little action, blah 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 blah. Things so action is also required. As much as I can philosophize, theorize, and go into details, in-depth psychological as an independent psychological analyst and theorist about dimensions, explorations of my own inner being and self, in complementary with the experiences that make a multiplicity of experiences in a diverse setting, or with XYZ factors of financial factors, social factors, XYZ, or interactions with other human beings. And of course, sometimes with tension, sometimes not that pleasant, sometimes do offend, get offended, get triggered. I get triggered, yeah, XYZ. It happens. There are feelings and emotions matter, just like 2 plus 2 equals 4. We can write it in black and white plus all the colors of the rainbow, and that is the philosophy. So it requires action. My own healing, transformation requires action. It requires me to work out, train, exercise, lost weight, 77 pounds, more than 77 pounds. If I would be just an advocate of, then it would be it. Or just advocating for the mass financing of people to work out, train, exercise. But I also do it. I put in more work than all the leaders of the free world, more philosophical, artistic, physical, and spiritual work than all the leaders of the free world combined. Put in more work, spiritual, artistic, philosophical, and physical work than all the leaders of the free world combined during COVID. Yours truly, the Dragan, put in more spiritual, physical, psychological, and artistic work and all the leaders of the free world during COVID. Matter of fact, march more than all the generals of the NATO during COVID. March hours. Sometimes my marches are more than 3 hours. I did 3 weeks ago, just before I had COVID. I think I did like was 9 hours, although stopped 9.5 hours, but all stopped to buy something at the big shop. So I took a half an hour off, but minimum more than 8.5 hours marching. More than 8.5 hours marching in steel toe boots. More than 8.5 hours march for world peace. As I'm calling, and of course I'm calling on. Have been calling. I'm still calling now. I'm gonna call now live on Facebook for the leaders of the free world and volunteers and all willingly living to in Hawk Island, Montreal, corner of Sherbrooke University, corner of Sherbrooke University to meet me. So that we march around about Mount Royal. We march around about Mount Royal. Now we march around about Mount Royal. Me, you, and the leaders of the free world. I'm calling for the Dragon Zero World Peace Summit. I'm calling for the Dragon Zero World Peace Summit. I'm calling for the Dragon Zero World Peace Summit to be on all radio stations, all TV channels, YouTube, all Facebook interaction, live stream via Instagram, Facebook, for the leaders of the free world of NATO. Me, you, and the leaders of the free worlds meet at the corner of Sherbrooke University, and we march round about Mount Royal. Steel toe boots or not, I'm gonna wear my black steel toe boots. And and I give a thanks to my anonymous sister for it. She bought them for me at a secondhand store. Thanks to my anonymous sister, she bought them for me at a secondhand store. Thanks to my anonymous sister who bought me for the secondhand store. Global Dragon Zero Global World Peace Summit, or Dragon Zero World Peace Summit. So I'm calling for help with support with volunteering XYZ for the Dragon Zero World Peace Summit, where we'll meet at the corner of Sherbrooke and University in Hawk Island, Montreal. Me, you, and the leaders of the free world, and we're gonna march around about Mount Royal and discuss the implementation of my trinity of theories: CIT, Citizen Integration Theory; DRT, Debt Refusion Theory; Democratic Fusion Theory; DFT, the trinity of theories which I've written over more than 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Periods of struggle, periods of suffering, when I was chronic illness, depression, suicidal, and still made the libraries of the city of Hawk Island, Montreal, my second home. As the libraries I've made of my second home, libraries made of my second home. Many read tens of thousands of books on philosophy, art, culture, civilization, finance, even on topics related to nature, the environment, and sexuality and psychology, and all things of civilization and nature during these past 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And read, and wrote also tens of thousands of pages of philosophy, geopolitical analysis, theory, songs and ideas for creative ideas, short stories, even scripts, dialogues for movies, XYZ, creative work and intellectual work and academic work as a independent people's doctor, a scholar, student scholar, because I'm learning every day, student scholar, because I'm learning every day, student scholar, because I'm learning every day. In a parallel life, science, innovation, and technology is my chosen path, where satellites, microchips, supercomputers, ICBM rockets is my chosen path in that parallel life. In this life, it is philosophy, psychology, the irrational, emotional, the spiritual, the artistic, the philosophical, the geopolitical, financial part of life, and the artistic and the spiritual, artistic, mystic, and irrational, emotional, sexual part of life. In this life here now is my chosen path as the people's doctor, as a philosopher, poet, a dancer, artist, of course, an independent fitness captain, and world peace advocate, and fundamentally the world's greatest living dancing millennial rainbow poet. Gonna need a coffee refill, and we're gonna do a little bit of reading on the topic. I'm just gonna do reading on the topics. And before I do get the cup of coffee again, I'm just gonna fill it maybe half. I do want to say thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, farmers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, farmers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, farmers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, truckers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, cooks. Cooking. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, butchers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, bakers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, painters. Thank you, love you, kiss you, plumbers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, construction workers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, daycare workers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, daycare workers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, daycare workers. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, nurses. Thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, doctors. As a matter of fact, now parliamentarians, how many by 300? How many parliamentarians in Canadian Parliament? A solution. Me, you, the Dragon Army, all willingly loving, and offer or multi-billionaires of Canada, or the nurses. The solution, a burnout workout. Maybe they could use a good massage. Offer them a check to do massage therapy, or parliamentarians of Canada, upper house, lower house, Senate, or those in the armed forces, offer the nurses a massage a weekend, even the hotels to stay a whole weekend as with the Dragon Army, to offer them something to for recreation, for rejuvenation. Sometimes a good massage. I learned massage therapy during COVID. Sponsor the mass finance. Where's a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaires. Why not the nurses? Or now, give it some a weekend to go on a motel here. If they're from Toronto, to come to Montreal. If they're from the east, go to the west. From the center, throughout Canada, coast to coast. What is the solution? Right? Have a whole weekend of rejuvenation and pleasure. Things served to them. Food, massages, recreation. Mass finance that, multi-billionaires. It is with solutions we gotta focus. Ain't no way if I'm broke, but my work is gold. Ain't no way that if I would have been a multi-millionaire, I would have not financed mass food security, and random things for acts of goodness and kindness for nurses, for daycare workers, for food security for others, right? For my LGBTQ community, of course, as well. For my fellow LGBTQ community, of course, as well. For my fellow LGBTQ community, of course, as well. Because myself have lost economic, financial, commercial opportunity, continuance of economic, financial, commercial benefits due to being LGBTQ, and um, I'm not. I use certain environments. I can be quite open, and I have been open online for many years now. I've been an advocate of LGBTQ issues and study of LGBTQ culture. I am a fellow culture creator who's LGBTQ. I'm a fellow culture creator who's LGBTQ. I'm a fellow culture creator who is LGBTQ, androgynous, pansexual, philosopher who's LGBTQ, and all that, who's part of the Rainbow Nation across nations unite. Rainbow nations across nations unite. Rainbow Nation across nations unite. Right? Sometimes things are not always rainbow with me. Sometimes it's stormy. I get angry. I get upset. Why didn't I get a dollar donation? It's been so many years of work. Put in more work than all the leaders of the free world combined during COVID. Put in more work than all the leaders of the free world combined during COVID. Put more work than all the leaders of the free world combined during COVID. Artistic, philosophical, spiritual work. Solutions. I do believe firmly that my trinity of theories implemented on the ground east, west, north, south are best at this point in time. Their implementation for the creation of the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragon Army, or the International Integrated Dance League, aka the Dancing Goddess Army. I do believe are best for their implementation. And we're gonna be a minute, gonna get a more cup of coffee, and we're gonna get to reading. Seconds. Now that we got a little bit more cup of coffee, we can just put half, because it's strong coffee. Don't want to palpitate and get to. I'm gonna probably work out later, but when I finish writing a children's book, I want to finish writing my children's book, or translate it actually in French. Translate a short children's book that I've written on one of my marches. I think one of the best that I've ever wrote, and I want to translate it at least in French before I work out, train, exercise, learn, and write some poetry thereafter. Yours truly, Dragan. We are gonna be reading on topics again. I want to be saying that I'm grateful, thankful that my rent is paid in full. I am grateful, thankful that my electricity bill is paid in full. I have fulfilled my duty, obligation, and responsibility to pay my rent in full, to pay my electricity bill in full, and I got some food. Got some food on a budget. Got some noodles, $1, 900 grams for £2. Noodles that I can cook. Got a little bit of cheese that I can put on that. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Some noodles. I got some cans of sardines. I got some cans of sardines. I got some onions, so I can cook some onions. I can cook some onions, and I can boil some noodles. I can make even some I think I know what I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make some spaghetti, dragon special spaghetti. I'm gonna make some special dragon spaghetti, some special dragons spaghetti for tonight. For tonight, I'm gonna make some special dragon spaghetti for dinner. For dinner, I'm gonna know what I'm gonna make because I got crushed tomatoes, got all special. I got spaghetti and I got onions, so I'm gonna cook. I think I have some mock. I bought at $1. Israeli imitation for vegan imitation of beef. It's so good. It was $1. Made in Israel was $1. Made in Israel was $1. Made in Israel. That was imitation. It was vegan, and it has a lot of protein. So I think I'm gonna use that for a good dinner. Some spaghetti. As for lunch, I think just a can of tuna. I'm gonna make some. Oh no, I'm gonna have a bagel with peanut butter. I'm gonna have a bagel with peanut butter. A bagel with peanut butter. Problem solved after this video. But until then, we rock and roll. Ready? We're gonna hot dribble. Parapsychology. Spelled together. Parapsychology. 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 Spelled together. Parapsychology is the study of alleged psychic phenomena, extrasensory perception, telepathy, precognition, clairvoyance, and psychokinesis. Psychic. What is psychic? A psychic is a person who claims to use extrasensory perception (ESP) to identify information hidden from the normal senses. I wish I could get a psychic on this dream interpreter. I try to interpret dreams, of course, as an independent psychological analyst and theorist, and my own dreams sometimes are reflections of struggles or conflicts or hidden lust, hidden desires, hidden fears as well, reflected in dreams or different experiences, different dimensions of experiences, which we do have that dimension of ourselves with the hidden experiences, hidden in our subconscious mind, which exists. Extrasensory perception, ESP, also called sixth sense, is a claimed paranormal ability pertaining to reception of information not gained through the recognized physical senses, but sensed with the mind. I don't claim to, by the way, I don't claim to have any of these powers. I don't claim to have any of these powers. I don't claim to have any of these powers. I am a great geopolitical analyst and theorist. I'm a great philosopher, a great artist, great independent athlete, great independent fitness captain, great theorist, and great artist and universal spiritual teaching student, and of course poet and dancer and philosopher and XYZ, but not don't claim I'm just reading as an educational, self-educational, because somebody has mentioned it in the comments in pertaining to the workout system which I've created back in 2019, which of course called officially the General War Integrated Total Body Training System, aka the Dragon Army workout, which of course was created, made, and designed to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario. Paradoxically, integrating myself as a geopolitical analyst and theorist, and as an independent fitness captain, and back then had sounded the alarm. I said, hey humanity, the geopolitical trend we are heading towards is another international conflagration, aka World War III. So myself, as both a geopolitical analyst and theorist and both an independent fitness captain, have created and designed the workout to go hand in hand with such a scenario, in such a scenario as World War III, of which the General War Integrated Body Training System, as somebody had mentioned, a related issue in regards to my workout training program related to parapsychology. Precognition. Precognition is the purported psychic phenomena of seeing or otherwise becoming directly aware of events in the future. Clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is the hypothetical ability to gain information about an object, person, location, or physical event through extrasensory perception. Any person who is claimed to have such ability is said to be a clairvoyant. Psychokinesis. Psychokinesis or telekinesis is hypothetical psychical ability allowing a person to influence a physical system without physical interaction. And psychometry. Psychometry, also known as the token object reading or psycho Scopy is a form of extrasensory perception characterized by the claimed ability to make relevant associations form an object of unknown history by making physical contact with that object. And other paranormal claims. So parapsychology is the study of alleged psychic phenomena such as extrasensory perception, telepathy, precognition, clairvoyance, psychokinesis, and other paranormal claims. For example, those related to near-death experience, NDE, synchronicity. Synchronicity is a concept first introduced by analytical psychologist Carl G. Jung. Love Carl Jung. Love Carl Jung. Love Carl Jung. Read some great books on interpretation of dreams to describe circumstances that appear meaningfully related yet lack a causal connection. In contemporary research, synchronicity experiences refer to one's subjective experience. Apparitional experiences. In parapsychology, an apparitional experience is an anomalous experience characterized by the apparent perception of either a living being or an inanimate object without there being any material stimulus for such perception. Criticized as a pseudoscience. So it's criticized as a pseudoscience. Consists of statements, beliefs, or practices that claim to be both scientific and factual but are incompatible with the scientific method. Pseudoscience is often characterized by contradictory, exaggerated, or unfalsifiable claims, reliance on confirmation bias rather than rigorous attempts. The majority of mainstream scientists reject it. The majority, scientists, but not all, not all, not all. But is the study of alleged psychic phenomena. I'm reading by the way from Wikipedia. I'm reading by the way from Wikipedia. Reading by the way from Wikipedia on parapsychology. The topic. Parapsychology has also been criticized by mainstream critics for many of its practitioners claiming that their studies are plausible in spite of no convincing evidence for the existence of any psychic phenomena after more than a century of research. Parapsychology research rarely appears in mainstream scientific journals. Instead, most papers about parapsychology are published in a small number of niche journals. And then we have the portal. So this is the portal. And the portal, and there you have things. The article is part of the series on alternative medicine. The main articles in the parapsychology. First, we're going to go into terminology. The term parapsychology was coined in 1889 by philosopher Max Dessoir in 1889. 1889, so more than 100 years ago. Philosopher Max M.A.X. Dessoir as the German psychology. Maximilian Dessoir was a German philosopher, psychologist, and theorist of aesthetics. As the German parapsychology was adopted by J.B. Rhine in the 1930s as a replacement to the term psychical research in order to indicate a significant shift toward experimental methodology and academic discipline. The term originates from the Greek para, meaning alongside, yes, like parallel. Like when I say because I have, and many millions, billions do believe in reincarnation, and I believe in reincarnation. As I've said, I've been here in Montreal, and twice in past lives, born twice in the USA, served in the US Army 156 years ago, 718 miles south from here, and here was before Columbus came in 1492, was North America, was incarnated in past lives in Central America and in, of course, Latin America, South America. A few times as was in ancient Egypt by the Nile. No, do not know how the pyramids were built. I was a farmer and I was a priestess. Yes, I was a man and a woman in different lives, different incarnation. Sometimes I was a priestess of the goddess, priestess of the goddess, priestess of the goddess, as I am, of course, today, and was fed the workers who built the pyramids, but don't know how they were built. Many past lives in ancient India, by the Ganges, was born many past lives before Rabbi Jesus in ancient India. India was born before Rabbi Jesus came on earth. In ancient India was born in ancient India before Rabbi Jesus came on earth. And of course, and by the Danube and by the Euphrates, and many past lives, many incarnations. So could that be part of parapsychology? It's more spirituality, religious, because a lot of religions, even of course Judaism, the Kabbalah, holy it is, believes in reincarnation, in several reincarnations and past lives, of course. And many other religions do believe in reincarnation, as I do, as a universal spiritual teaching student, because I'm learning every day and I don't know all the answers. I don't have the dogmatic. I try to be as non-sectarian in everything that I do. I try to be as non-sectarian in everything that I do. I try to be non-sectarian in everything that I do. And of course, as the androgynous pansexual founder of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom is non-sectarian as long as abide by the principles, the resolutions, the solutions, and support the solutions and the implementation of my trinity of theories and the creation of the two complementary cooperative covenant institutions of the International Integrated Dance League, okay, the Dancing Goddess Army, with the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragon Army, and the Global Dragon Union, the 21st Century International Workers Alliance, and the Phoenix People's Party, the anti-war, anti-poverty, anti-racism, pro-love, universal revolutionary centrist, because I'm a revolutionary centrist and a universal one for that matter, believing in private-public partnerships and believing that my trinity of theories will bring some balance, harmony, and equilibrium to the existing current global financialized corporate technocratic order, which has been installing since 1984 with Ronald Reagan's election since 1984. Ronald Reagan's elections of 1984, I pinpoint how the Western world and NATO member countries and the collective North American civilization, and for that matter, the free world, West world, and to a certain point, the world, more or less, has come under a globalized, corporate, technocratic, financialized order. And my theories, public-private partnerships, and the creation of the two 21st century institutions to balance, bring some harmony between civilization with that, and addressing economic, financial, commercial issues by the Dragon Army, securing the three essential elements of civilization for all that I'm calling and advocating for: food, housing, and transport, securing food, housing, and transport, securing food, housing, and transport, and then to that trinity of civilization secured, food, housing, and transport, work and offer on the fourth dimension, services, by Dragon Army with consent and hygiene, mutual understanding, and love, all services to be offered. Consent and hygiene, mutual understanding, and love, all services to be offered. Consent and hygiene, mutual understanding, and love, all services to be offered. All services that harm none. Principle that harm none, with the principle that harm none, with consent and hygiene, mutual understanding, and love. Services such as help with the cooking, help with cleaning, help with taking the children because they're driving the parents crazy for a half an hour jog or run or dance or do some push-ups, play a sport, XYZ, and they don't want to over medicate their children because the energy itself is intense, got to be channeled and sublimated. So the Dragon Army, to be of security of service, to provide all services with consent and hygiene that can be offered with the principle that harm none, and complementary covenant and cooperative way with the Dancing Goddess Army, to be for pleasure and purpose, to dance for pleasure and to purpose for the environment, to attain harmony between civilization and nature, and secure food, housing, and transport, and then offer the fourth dimension services and these two complementary covenant cooperative institutions to be integrated with all existing public and private institutions and organizations, east, west, north, south. In parapsychology, PSI, so in Greek, para meaning alongside, and psychology. So alongside psychology, just like I'm saying in a parallel life. So the word para, P-A-R-A, comes from Greek, parapsychology. The word Greek, para, P-A-R-A, comes from the Greek alongside. So when I say in my parallel life, I'm trying to connect sometimes with that parallel life where satellites, supercomputers, microchips, gadgets, satellites in my parallel life is my chosen path. Being in that parallel life, my chosen path is science, innovation, and technology, where satellites, supercomputers, ICBM rockets, microchips, smartphones is everything that I know and do, and software coding, and satellites connection with the internet, and radio, satellite telecommunications. And I grew up in Germany, moved as a young adult in Israel, and spent between Israel, Germany, and North America mostly, and then traveled across the world in science, innovation, and technology in that parallel life. So it's the same parallel life. So parapsychology, that's what it means, the Greek parallel. In parapsychology, PSI is the unknown factor in extrasensory perception and psychokinesis, experiences that is not explained by known physical or biological mechanisms. So the term is derived from the Greek psi, as in psychology, the letter of the Greek alphabet, meaning of the psyche, meaning of the mind, or the mind in the ancient Greek. Of course, the translation, sometimes we lose a lot of meaning, a lot of profound in-depth understanding and meaning of the words, sometimes lost in translation. So the psyche refers to the mind, or even the soul, right? The mind. The term was coined by biologist Bertolt Wiesner. Bertolt Paul Wiesner, Wiesner, surname, was an Austrian Jewish psychologist noted firstly for coining the term psi to denote parapsychological phenomena, secondly for his contribution to research into human fertility and the diagnosis of pregnancy, and thirdly for being biological father to upwards of 600 offspring by anonymously donating sperm used by his wife, the obstetrician Mary Barr, to perform artificial insemination on women at her private practice at the Harley Street of London. Animal geneticist. Wow. Bertolt Wisner. Not too acquainted, I gotta admit with Bertolt Wiesner. Paul Wiesner. Bertolt Paul Wiesner with a W. And first used by psychologist Robert Tools in 1942 article published in the British Journal of Psychology. The Parapsychological Association divides psi into two main categories: Psi Gamma for extrasensory perception and Psi Kappa for psychokinesis. In popular culture, Psi become more and more synonymous with special psychic, mental, and psionic abilities and powers. And in the parapsychological, there we see the main articles of the paranormal. So there's the main articles: astral projection. Don't go too close to the sun. Astral projecting is a term. Astral projecting is a term used in esotericism to describe an intentional out-of-body experience, albeit that assumes the existence of a subtle body called an astral body through which consciousness can function separately from the physical body. Astrology. Astrology is also categorized as parapsychology here, or a subject of parapsychological study. Astrology is a range of divinatory practices recognized as pseudoscientific since the 18th century that claim to discern information about human affairs and terrestrial events by studying the apparent positions of celestial objects. And we have to say that the astrology is pretty much universal for a lot of civilizations, right? Ancient Egyptians had astrology, ancient Babylonians, ancient Sumerians had astrologies, ancient India was born in other past lives, other incarnation, was born near the Ganges, and a few times in ancient India before Rabbi Jesus came to earth. And other, of course, astrology is part of, as a matter of fact, I was seeing on the screen, right? Turn on the internet, it was saying astrology readings were there available. The astrological readings were there available. The day-to-day stuff, I don't know, day-to-day, but for me as a Scorpio, a lot of the things are correct to my character and nature and dynamics and the intensity sometimes, and the XYZ and the other, the bad, the good, and the rainbow between the black and the white, the rainbow between the black and the white, the rainbow between the black and the white. Breeder theism. Inedia, or breatharianism. Breatharianism. So I'm also learning. This is the first time I think. As maybe I read it years ago, but I'm reading this word. So it's called breatharianism. 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 How do you pronounce that? Spelled together. Breatharianism is the claimed ability for a person to live without consuming food, and in some cases water. It is a deadly pseudoscience, and several adherents of these practices have died from starvation or dehydration. Brothers and sisters, food is holy. Brothers and sisters, food is holy. Brothers and sisters, food is holy. This black coffee bean, which comes from a red berry, was made, created, and produced initially by the dance of the goddess who dances with her bird, the sun, and was, thank you, love you, kiss you, hug you, farmers. As all fruits, vegetables, and legumes are made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her bird, the sun, but thanks to the farmers, our brothers and sisters, farmers, our brothers and sisters, farmers. Love you, hug you, kiss you. Love you, hug you, kiss you, farmers. Love you, kiss you, farmers. Clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is the hypothetical ability to gain information about an object, person, location, or physical event through extrasensory perception. Any person who is claimed to have such ability is said to be a clairvoyant. Close encounter. In ufology, so this is in ufology, is an event in which a person witnesses an identified flying object. Cold spot. Ghost hunting is the process of investigating locations that are reported to be haunted by ghosts. Typically, a ghost hunting team will attempt to collect evidence supporting the existence of paranormal activity. Ghost hunters use a variety of electronic devices. Crystal gazing. Crystal gazing is a method for seeing visions achieved through trance-inducing induction by means of gazing at a crystal. Traditionally, it has been seen as a form of divination or scrying, with visions of the future. Conjuration. Conjuration evocation is the act of calling upon or summoning a spirit, demon or deity, or other supernatural agents in the Western mystery tradition. Comparable practices exist in many religions and magical traditions and may employ the use of mind-altering substances. Cryptozoology, Cryptozoology, is a pseudoscience and subculture that searches for and studies unknown, legendary, or extinct animals whose present existence is disputed or unsubstantiated, particularly those in popular folklore, such as the Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, Yeti, the Chupacabra, or of course, vampires. Demonic possession. Spirit possession is an unusual or altered state of consciousness and associated behaviors purportedly caused by the control of a human body by spirits, ghosts, demons, or gods. The concept of spirit possession exists in many cultures and religions, including Buddhism, Christianity, Haiti, Voodoo. Demonology is a study of demons or belief in demons. Ectoplasm. I like this word, ectoplasm, water chasm, water chism in the bottom, at the bottom was enough for with a bottom. Best of rapper, better bottle up with a bottom, with a booty got androgynous. That just did the best lyrics rap of today, August 9. Those lyrics were best rap gold. Ectoplasm is a term used in spiritualism to denote a substance or spiritual energy exteriorized by physical mediums. It was coined in 1894 by psychical researcher Charles Richard, although the term is widespread in popular culture. Electronic voice phenomena. Within ghost hunting and parapsychology, electronic voice phenomena, electronic voice phenomena, electronic voice phenomena, are sounds found on electronic recordings that are interpreted as spirit voices. Parapsychologist Konstantin Zrodovich, who popularized the idea in the 1970s, described EVP as typically brief. Exorcism. Exorcism is the religious or spiritual practice of evicting demons, jinns, or other spiritual entities from a person or area that is believed to be possessed. Extrasensory perception, EP, also called Sixth Sense. Fortana. Charles Hoy Fort was an American writer and researcher who specialized in anomalous phenomena. The term Fortean. Fortune telling. Fortune telling is the practice of predicting information about a person's life. The scope of fortune telling in principle identical with its practice, the practice of divination. The difference is that divination is the term used of predictions, ghost hunting, indigo children. Indigo children, according to a pseudoscientific New Age concept, are children who are believed to possess special. Children are special, unusual, and sometimes supernatural traits. They taught me a lot. Children teach me a lot. They taught me a lot. Supernatural traits or abilities. The idea is based on concepts developed in the 1970s by Nancy Ann Tappe, Tappe, surname. Magic, spelled with a C, not with a K. Oh, magic, sometimes spelled Magick or Magic, is the application of beliefs, rituals, or actions employed in the belief that they can manipulate natural supernatural beings and forces. It is a category into which have been placed various beliefs and practices. Mediumship. Mediumship is the practice of purportedly mediating communication between familiar spirits or spirits of the dead. Miracle. A miracle is an event that seems inexplicable by natural scientific laws. I believe in miracles, need a miracle, and need a miracle. The occult, in the broadest sense, is a category of esoteric supernatural beliefs and practices which generally fall outside the scope of religion and science, encompassing phenomena involving otherworldly agencies such as magic, sorcery, and mysticism. Orb. In photography, backscatter is an optical phenomenon resulting in typically circular artifacts on an image due to camera's flash. Ouija. The Ouija spirit board. Paranormal television. Paranormal television is a genre of reality television that purports to document factual investigations of the paranormal rather than the fictional representations seen in traditional narrative films. Precognition. Precognition is the purported psychic phenomenon of seeing or otherwise becoming directly aware of events in the future. Preternatural. The preternatural is that which appears outside of the known natural. Psychic. Psychic is the person who claims to use ESP, extrasensory perception. Psychic readings. Psychokinesis. Psychokinesis or telekinesis is a hypothetical psychic ability allowing a person to influence a physical system without physical interaction. Psychometry, also known as token object reading or psychoscopy, is a form of extrasensory perception characterized by the claimed ability to make relevant association from an object. Reincarnation, there it is. This is my belief, of course, as a universal spiritual teaching student who has questions, who's not that dogmatic, who can be non-sectarian for world peace, international justice, ensuring and securing global freedom and attaining harmony between civilization and nature, moving towards post-COVID world, moving towards a post-COVID world, moving towards a post-COVID world. Reincarnation, also known as rebirth or transmigration, is the philosophical or religious, myself is philosophical, spiritual philosophical concept that the non-physical essence of a living being begins a new life in a different physical form or body after biological death. Resurrection is a similar process. So reincarnation. Remote viewing. Remote viewing RV is the practice of seeking impressions about a distant or unseen subject, purportedly sensing with the mind. Typically, a remote viewer is expected to give information about an object, event, person, or location that is hidden from physical view and separated at some distances. Retrocognition, from the Latin retro meaning backward, behind, and cognition meaning knowing, describes knowledge of a past event which could have not learned or referred by normal means. The term was coined by Frederick V.H. Myers. Spirit photography. Spirit photography is a type of photography whose primary goal is to capture images of ghosts or other spiritual entities, especially in ghost hunting. Spirit possession. Spirit possession is an unusual or altered state of consciousness and associated behaviors purportedly caused by the control of a human body by spirits, ghosts, demons, or gods. The concept of spirit possession exists in many cultures and religions, including Buddhism, Christianity, Haitian voodoo. Spirit world. The spirit world, according to spiritualism, is a world or realm inhabited by spirits, both good or evil, or various of various spiritual manifestations. Whereas religion regards an inner life, the spirit world is regarded as an external environment for spirits. Spiritualism is a social religious movement according to which the laws of nature and of God include the continuity of personality after the transition of death and the possibility of communication between the living and earth. Stone tap theory is the speculation that ghosts and hauntings are analogous to tape recordings, and that mental impressions during emotional traumatic events can be projected in the form of energy recorded onto rocks or in certain conditions. Wow. I don't think I ever heard of that. Let's read it again. The stone tape theory is the speculation that ghosts and hauntings are analogous to tape recordings, and that mental impressions during emotional or traumatic events can be projected in the form of energy, recorded onto rocks and other terms, and replaced under certain conditions. The stone tape theory is the speculation that ghosts and hauntings are analogous to tape recordings, and that mental impressions during emotional or traumatic events can be projected in the form of energy and recorded. Supernatural is a phenomena or entities that are subject to the laws of nature, that are not subject to the laws of nature. Telepathy. Telepathy is the purported vicarious transmission of information from one's mind to another without using any known human sensory channels or physical interaction. Table turning. Table turning is a type of seance in which participants sit around the table, place their hands on it, and wait for rotations. The table was purportedly made to serve as a means of communicating with the spirit. The alphabet would be slowly spoken, and then the table would sit the appropriate. Ufology. Ufology is the investigation of unidentified flying objects, UFO, by people who believe that they may be of extraordinary origins. While there are instances of government, private, and fringe science investigations of UFOs, ufology is generally regarded by skeptics and science educators as a pseudoscience. Interesting. There's skepticism, and the skepticism there's committee for skeptical inquiry, magical thinking, prizes. There's related issues. Related is anomalistics, argument from ignorance, argumentum ad populum. Let's see, what is that? Hypothesis. In argumentation theory, an argument ad populum is a fallacious argument which is based on claiming a truth or affirming something is good because the majority thinks so. Like paying interest. Like I'm paying interest. My policy is to limit all interest on all loans, business loans, credit lines, credit cards, student loans at 10% maximum on the Dancing Goddess and Dragon Kingdom. After implementing my theory of debt refusion theory, DRT debt refusion theory, set a limit for interest at 10%. Please, if you're a multi-billionaire, give 10% for food security and finance those nurses. Offer them some a weekend off or somewhere to, if they're Canada, from east to the west or from other cities, to go and have the lodging, the hotel or motel, and the massage therapy and food catered for them. That is a solution. You can do it. Multi-millionaires, you don't need another house, you got 7. You don't need another car, you got 7. You got millions, billions. A billion is 1,000 million. Committee for skeptical thinking. Prizes for evidence of paranormal, scientific skepticism, fringe science, of course, groupthink. Groupthink is a psychological phenomenon that occurs within a group of people in which the desire for harmony or conformity in the group results in an irrational or dysfunctional decision-making outcome. Cohesiveness, or the desire for cohesiveness, or desire for cohesiveness in a group may produce a tendency among its members to agree at all costs. That causes the group to minimize conflict and reach a consensus decision without critical evaluation. Groupthink is a construct of social psychology but has an extended reach and influences literature in fields of communication studies, political science, management, and organizational theory. Organizational theory. Wow. Early psychical research in 1853. Chemist Robert Hare, Hare, Robert Hare, was an early American chemist, conducted experiments with mediums, and reported positive results. Wow, it would be interesting to see a documentary on that if there is, on Robert Hare. Ryan era, then we go. So these are there's something about the Stargate project. Beginning in the early 1950s, the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, started extensive research into Behavioral engineering, also called applied behavioral analysis, is intended to identify issues associated with the interface of technology and the human operators in the system, and to generate recommended design practices that consider the strengths and limitations. The findings from these experiments led to the formation of the Stargate project. Stargate Project was a secret U.S. Army unit established in 1978 at Fort Meade, Maryland by the Defense Intelligence Agency (DIA), Defense Intelligence Agency, and SRI International to investigate the potential for psychic phenomena in military and domestic intelligence operations. Pretty cool. Which handed ESP research for the U.S. federal government. The Stargate project was terminated in 1995 with the conclusion that it was never useful in any intelligence operation. The information was vague and concluded a lot of irrelevant erroneous data. There was reason to suspect that the research managers had adjusted their project's reports to fit a known background keywords. The Stargate project was a secret U.S. Army unit established. Stargate projects work primarily involve remote viewing, the purported ability to psychically see events, sites, or information from a great distance. The project was overseen until 1987 by Frederick Holmes Skip Atwater, an aide and psychic headhunter by Major General Armies.Will, and later president of the Monroe Institute. The unit was small scale, comprising about 15 to 20 individuals, run out of an old, leaky wooden barracks. The Stargate project was terminated and declassified in 1995 after a CIA report concluded that it was never useful in any intelligence operation. It was useful. Maybe push-ups instead, eh? Dragan, the general war integrated whole body training system that I've created in 2019 for increasing general overall fitness, 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 for increasing general overall fitness. Adopt my workout training program across the collective North American civilization, citizens, and all security forces, armed forces, Canada, US, NATO. Unite with the Dragon Army, unite with the Dragon Army, unite with the Dragon Army. US Intelligence and Security Command. Major General Harry Soiter. Interesting. Stargate Project. Pretty cool. So the scope, reincarnation, psychokinesis, clairvoyance, and participation in different remote viewing experiments. The Gansville experiment. Gansville, German for whole field, is a technique used to test individuals for telepathy. So the Gansfield effect. Participant in a Gansfield experiment. Proponents say such experiments have shown evidence of telepathy, while critics like Ray Heimer have pointed out that they have not been independently replicated. There's Russell Targ, who was co-founder of the Stargate project. Dream telepathy. In dream telepathy, parapsychological studies that into dream telepathy was carried out at the Maimonides Medical Center in Brooklyn, New York by Stanley Kripper and Morgan Ullman. They concluded the results from some of their experiments supported dream telepathy. However, the results have not been independently replicated. The reports have not been independently replicated. Clinical death, consciousness studies. So the consciousness studies in reincarnation research, psychiatrist, evaluation, and then we have physics. The ideas of precognition, psychokinesis, and telepathy violate well-established laws of physics. As laws of physics. Scientific laws or laws of science are statements based on repeated experiments or observations that describe or predict a range of natural phenomena. Psychokinesis violates the inverse square law, the second law of thermodynamics, and the conservation of momentum. There's no mechanism for PSY. Interesting. Psychokinesis. So yes, this in physics it's such things as ideas of psi, precognition, psychokinesis, or telepathy violate these laws of physics. Right? So there's a tension, a conflict, a discord between parapsychology and science. In many ways, although there's some that do believe, such as myself, do believe in reincarnation, and in the psychology field, I was analyzing dreams, my own dreams, and of course, that they contain elements of the irrational subconscious, which we have in us. We have hidden lusts, hidden fears, right? Like I've said before in the analogy that, of course, the irrational fear of a 6'6", 360 pounds former player of the NFL who spent 13 years in the NFL, or he's still playing in the NFL. This is last year. 13 years in the NFL, 3 concussions he had. He survived. He's 6'6", 360. Yet he's afraid of a small spider. That's an irrational fear, which we have irrational fears and hidden lust and all sorts of things that are of the subconscious bias or the different dimensions of our natures, which is of a subconscious nature, and sometimes it comes into light, can trigger us, can upset us, can move us to do things, and we gotta bring it into light and channel and sublimate. 2 keywords in my philosophy, in my psychological theories and practice, and to channel and sublimate, such as aggression, to channel it like sports, right? Do push-ups, do squats, go for a jog, go for a run. If you have aggression or feeling moody, it's always for me medicine and therapy of the practical nature. To work out, train, exercise, to work out, train, and to exercise, it's something which is my medicine and therapy of choice. And not only medicine and therapy, but joy and a mode of worship. Come worship with us later on after my little lunch. So there's a lot more reading here on the parapsychology to do, which we'll not do today, and we're just gonna go into read a little bit about superorganism now. A superorganism or supraorganism is a group of synergetically interacting organisms. Synergy is an interaction or cooperation giving rise to a whole that is greater than the single sum of its parts. Synergy is an interaction or cooperation giving rise to a whole that is greater than the simple sum of its parts. Synergy is an interaction or cooperation giving rise to a whole that is greater than the single sum of its parts. Synergy is an interaction or cooperation giving rise to a whole that is greater than the single sum of its parts, which is, of course, the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom's 2 complementary, cooperative, and covenant institutions that I'm calling for the creation thereof ASAP by the implementation of my trinity of theories known as citizen integration theory, debt refusion theory, democratic fusion theory ASAP, where a public-private partnership yours truly, the Hana Dragon androgynous pansexual founder thereof, of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom and the Global Dragon Union and the Phoenix People's Party, as yours truly, universal revolutionary centrist, calling all willingly loving to support the world peace work of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom. A superorganism or supraorganism is a group of synergetically interacting organisms of the same species. A community of synergetically interacting organisms of different species is called a holo. Holobiont is an assemblage of a host and the many other species living in or around it, which together form a discrete ecological unit. Though there is controversy over this discreteness, the components of a whole block are individual species or bionts. Wow. A mound built by cathedral termites. Concept. The term superorganism is used most often to describe the social unit or eusocial animals, where division of labor is highly specialized and where individuals are not able to survive by themselves for extended periods. Ants are the best examples of such a superorganism. Ants are the best example, interesting. Best example of such a superorganism. Ants are the best example of such a superorganism. A superorganism can be defined as a collection of agents which can act in concert to produce phenomena governed by the collective. A collection of agents which can act in concert to produce phenomena governed by the collective. A collection of agents which can act in concert to produce phenomena governed by the collective. Phenomena being any activity the hive wants, such as ants collecting food or avoiding predators, or bees choosing in a new nest site. Wow. In challenging environments, microorganisms collaborate and evolve together to process unlikely sources of nutrients such as methane. The process called syntropy, eating together, might be linked to the evolution of eukaryotic cells and involved in the emergence or maintenance of life forms in challenging environments on Earth and possibly other planets. Superorganisms tend to exhibit homeostasis, power law, scaling, persistent disequilibrium, and emergent behaviors. The term was coined in 1789 by James Hutton, the father of geology, to refer to Earth in the context of geophysiology. Geophysiology, the Gaia hypothesis of James Lovelock, the Gaia, G-A-I-A, the Gaia hypothesis, also known as the Gaia theory. Gaia paradigm or the Gaia principle proposes that living organisms interact with their inorganic surroundings on Earth to form a synergetic and self-regulating complex system that helps to maintain and perpetuate the world. Wow. Limogers was the work of Hutton, Vladimir Vernadsky, and Grimurchi, have suggested that the biosphere, also known as the ecosphere, is the worldwide sum of all ecosystems. It can be termed the zone of life on Earth. The biosphere is virtually a closed system with regards to matter, with minimal inputs and outputs. Itself can be considered a superorganism, although this has been disputed. This view relates to systems theory. Systems theory is the interdisciplinary study of systems, cohesive groups of interrelated, interdependent components that can be natural or human-made. Every system has causal boundaries or is influenced by its context defined by structure function. A complex system is a system of composed many components by which interact with each other. Like my system. My system related to general overall fitness that I've created back in 2019 and which I'm glad to have made it and produced it and created it to be an efficient, effective workout training program which requires no equipment. Requires no equipment. Simple, effective, and efficient. Officially titled the General War Integrated Total Body Training System. Trinity push-ups, hawk squats, plus fourth dimension, marching or jogging or running or walking fast pace. A simple, effective exercise training program that is made and to increase general overall fitness, to increase general overall fitness, meant to increase general overall fitness. So in social theory, the 19th century thinker Herbert Spencer coined the term superorganic to focus on social organization. On the first chapter of Principle of Sociology is entitled Superorganic Evolution, though this was apparently a distinction between the organic and the social, not an identity. Spencer explored the holistic nature of society and the social organism while distinguishing the ways in which society did not behave like an organism. For Spencer, the superorganic was an emergent property of interacting organisms, that is, human beings. As the D.C. Phillips, there is difference between emergence and reductionism. The economist Karl Menger, Menger, von Wolfenskrug, was an Austrian economist and the founder of the Austrian School of Economics. Expanded upon the evolutionary nature of much social growth. Much social growth. Social growth, evolution of social growth, but without ever abandoning methodological individualism. Many social institutions arose, Menger argued, as the result of socially teleological causes. Teleological. Teleological. It's spelled Teleological. Teleological causes, but the unintended result of innumerable efforts of economic subjects pursuing individual interest. Spencer and Merger have both argued that because it's individuals who choose an act, any social whole should be considered less than an organism. Interesting. This is all very interesting. In cybernetics, superorganisms are important in cybernetics, particularly biokinetics. Cybernetics is a wide-ranging field concerned with regulatory and purposive systems. The core concepts of cybernetics is circular causality or feedback, where the observed outcomes or actions are taken into inputs or further action in ways that support the pursuit or maintenance in particularly cybernetics. Biocybernetics is the application of cybernetics to biological science disciplines such as neurology and multicellular systems. Cybernetics plays a major role in systems biology, seeking to integrate different levels of information to understand how biological systems function. They are capable of so-called distributed intelligence, or CI. Collective intelligence is shared or group intelligence that emerges from the collaboration, collective efforts, and competition of many individuals and appears in consensus decision making. The term appears in sociology, political science, and in the context of mass peer review, which is a system composed of individual agents that have limited intelligence and information. Fascinating. Joel de Rosny also introduced a concept called Cybionite, Cibionte, to describe cybernetic superorganism. This notion associate superorganism with chaos theory, multimedia technology, and other new developments. And you can see also different the Gaia hypothesis. We can read on that, or organismic computing. What is that? Organismic computing, ORGANISMIC computing, is a form of engineered human computation that employs technology to enable shared sensing, collective reasoning, and coordinated action within human groups forward. Goal-directed behavior is biometric approach. Group mind, group ego, group mind coalescence, or Gestalt intelligence. Gestalt, I think it's the German word. I'm not sure, it might be Gestalt. Yes, it's a German word. I'm sure. Positive, 100%. Gestalt, intelligence. In science fiction, it is a plot device in which multiple minds or consciousnesses are linked into a single collective consciousness or intelligence. The first alien hive society was depicted in H.G. Wells' First Men to the the use of human hive minds in literature goes back to the David H. Keller, Human Termites, Wonder, Genesis, Identity, Telepathy, facilitated brain communication. A group mind might be formed by any fictional plot device that facilitates brain-to-brain communications. A group mind. I heard love on the streets. So say love on the streets every other word, please. Say love on the streets every other word, please. Say love on the streets every other word. What else? I was saying something about love. I'm always about love. Love is action. Hygiene. Consent. LOV. Consent, hygiene. Love is action. That's just blah, blah. A group mind might be formed by any fictional plot device that facilitates brain-to-brain communication, such as telepathy. The term may be used interchangeably with hive mind. Hive mind tends to describe a group mind in which the linked individuals have no identity or free will and are possessed or mind controlled as extensions of the hive mind. The term, so group mind or Gestalt intelligence, the term may be used interchangeably with hive mind. Hive mind tends to describe a group mind in which the linked individuals have no identity or free will and are possessed or mind controlled as extension of the hive mind. The term can be used interchangeably with hive mind. So the term group mind or Gestalt intelligence can be used interchangeably with hive mind. Hive mind tends to describe a group mind in which the linked individuals have no identity or free will and are possessed of mind control extensions. Fear associated with a concept of an entity that spreads among individuals and suppresses and subsumes their consciousness in the process of integrating them into its own collective consciousness. The concept of a group or a hive mind is an intelligence version of a realized superorganism, such as a beehive or an ant colony. Some hive minds feature members that are controlled by a centralized hive brain or a hive queen. Some hive minds feature members that are controlled by a centralized hive brain or hive queen, which other features a decentralized while others feature a decentralized approach where members interact equally or roughly equally to come to decisions. Hive minds are typically viewed in a negative light, especially in earlier works, though some newer works portray them as neutral positive. So some hive minds feature members that are controlled by a centralized hive brain or hive queen, while others feature a decentralized approach, hive brain, hive queen. A list of hive minds, and we have quite a few books in literature. Wow, this is so cool. Precogs, drummers, comprise coalitions, compositions, children. Gotta read that one. The bugs must be fun to read. Precogs, the predator, the predator. In Dimensional Miracles, oh, the predator. Yeah, not confusing the movie. The Overmind, Overlords. Hive mind kills the match. The Emperor. In Confusion by Prince Honas. Plenty of literature and comic books as well. Predator, Peacocks around as well. In media, anime. You have anime, then you have films. Well, let's see films. In films, the machines in the Matrix trilogy form a seemingly connected mind, especially at the end of the Matrix Revolutions, where they coalesce into a face to speak to Neo. The machines in the Matrix trilogy form a seemingly connected mind, especially in the end of the Matrix Revolutions, where they coalesce into a face to speak to Neo. The machines in the Matrix trilogy, and of course, the fourth dimension to that trilogy of Trinity came out, and I've seen it. It's not bad. And of course, brothers Wachowski are now sisters. The sisters Wachowski. Love you, sisters. Your bro, sis bro here. Adrian Hanna, Dragon, androgynous, pansexual. Have idea for some movie. The machines in the Matrix trilogy form a seemingly connected mind, especially at the end of the Matrix Revolutions, where they coalesced into a face to speak to Neo. I gotta see it again, I guess. So with that, we're gonna wrap it up for the day, cause yours truly, Dragon, gotta eat. Everybody gotta eat. Everybody eat. Please, if you're a millionaire, multi-millionaire, multi-billionaires across the collective North American civilization, across this North American collective civilization, please, mass finance, food security, people who work out, train, exercise, and all willingly loving support the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom. Yours truly, Aaron Hana, Dragons, Dancing Goddess and Dragon Kingdom, to create two complementary cooperative and covenant institutions by the implementation of my trinity of theories, which I'm calling all to support the implementation thereof, known as CIT, Citizen Integration Theory, Debt Refusion Theory, Democratic Fusion Theory, that trinity of theories to create two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions, International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragon Army, for securing food, housing, and transport, the three essential elements of civilization, and afterwards offering the fourth dimension to that trinity of services with consent, hygiene, mutual understanding, and LOVE, and the principle that harm none, all services to be offered by the Dragon Army, to be of service and security and integrated with all existing public and private security institutions and organizations, east, west, north, south, from Hawk Island, Montreal, with the Dancing Goddess Army, the International Integrated Dance League. Integrate, that will be an all gender, all ages, all sexual orientation, all ages inclusive, all inclusive dance league to dance for purpose and pleasure. The Dancing Goddess Army, officially International Integrated Dance League, with the Dragon Army, officially International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force. That's what I'm calling for. Looking for volunteer supporters, all willingly loving thereof. Make love tonight is the main message. Make love tonight is the main message. Make love tonight is the main message, because otherwise, what are we fighting to save the free world, North American collective civilization, and NATO, well, for that matter, if somebody's not making LOV tonight. Please increase in hygiene in public also, thanks. Put it on Facebook.